appointments, that's what we get. I mean, Kathleen probably is more moderate, so we might get some representation through Kathleen, but all of our other representation on those committees is now in the hands of a very conservative group.
And Maddie?
I think I think locally in your own school district, in terms of, your own district, your own school, in terms of the professionals there, what we have found, what we decided to do was to move forward with our purple group, as we wanted to come up and say, we support the professionals, because as you're describing it, what the people from the Florida Citizens Advisory, the Moms for Liberty, whatever, they're adversarial, they're angry, they're telling you you're doing everything wrong, you don't know anything. And what we wanted to tell the professionals in the district is that we support you, we trust you, we agree that you should be the ones who are making these important decisions. The school district and teachers, and I don't know if the other, anyway, the other Laura has gone.
But I think she had to get back to actually teaching.
Right, but teachers feel supported. So when you say, well, they don't support her because she's, a screamer and whatever, but if the people who do support this assistant principal don't come out in force and talk about how important the work that he or she is doing, or whatever you have to do, then she'll be able to convince people that there's something wrong with that person. So I just think that locally is that for your own district, just get your friends out there and speak about it.
Barbara, did you? Yeah.
Yes. Am I muted?
No, you're good.
No, okay. I don't know how many of you were here in 1996. Do we have people that were here in 1996? Okay. I don't know if you remember this.
He was 5 years old, but anyway.
Okay. See what I remember this.
High school. I was in high school in 96.
Yes. Elaine Schaefer remembers this because we were all involved. In 1996, we had very, very similar problems with the school board. And 3 men were going to be elected who were very, very conservative, and when they were pushing a Christian Bible course for the high schools.
I remember.
And in this area, you would assume that, everybody's going to be supporting it. We beat them. We beat them soundly, because it was a group of us, it was a big group of us that got together and just said, we will not tolerate this. Christian Bible study is for Sunday school. Don't ask the teachers to teach this kind of a thing in the school. We have other things to teach. But these 3 men were kicked out. We put in 3 moderate women, and things went along very, very nicely. This was right in the middle of that whole thing with the Christian Coalition and Jerry Falwell and pushing everything. But in our small area of Lee County, we got it done. And if we can get it done then, I'm sure we can get it done now. With that, and please don't nobody give up, because this is a biggie.
This is very big.
We only have a couple minutes left, but Laura Gales, I was going to just give you Laura is on the, I should have said the board of SESI as well. SESI's kind of been ignored in this, but any wish list, any quick wish list for help that you need?
So the School Advisory Committee, the SAC committee, is something that is open to the community. The PTA is also something that is open to the community. I think people think about it as a parent-teacher association, but any community member can join the PTA and participate in PTA activities. The PTA, to be clear, is pretty moderate to left-leaning, but it never hurts to be involved. SAC is basically me and her and teachers, and that's it.
And Laura, just for more information on that, that's a group that just meets with the school administration.
Yes,
and like you said, it's open to the community. So if someo's interested,
and you don't have to join and come. It doesn't have to be the same people who come every month. It can be, different people who come each month, and it helps you be aware of what's going on. And it also helps to have those voices in the room. The meetings are usually pretty boring, but sometimes, they can get a little eventful. So
if people are interested, could they reach out to you and you could let them know when the meeting's
going? They can, or they can also directly email Yes, you may, Bug. Or they can also reach out directly to Principal Reed, and then she'll add them to the email list that gets
That would be wonderful.
that gets the emails to when the meetings are, which I think it's like the first Tuesday of the month at 2:30 p.m. But I'm not 100% sure, because if it's not in my calendar, it doesn't happen. So I have to look.
Elaine, I think you were going to say something right before Laura. Do you have one last thing to add? Sorry, I should have given you a warning.
I was just going to bring on to Barbara's comment about the last fight with the school district about Bible studies. That's when Howard Simon got involved, and he was at that time the incoming Florida director of ACLU. He is the speaker for PCI for the May membership meeting, and he got very involved with it, and that brought a lot of extra publicity. So we need to look at going outside and figuring out who else besides parents and community members, like what organizations we might need.
Thanks, Elaine. Sharon?
An observation from somebody who is also from Chicago. It was a culture shock, trust me, definitely. And that's one of the things I've noticed down here is that trying to organize and get groups of people to work together can be challenging. And that's why Maddie has been so instrumental. She has been able to reach out and do a lot of that where I was not able to. I was kind of that lone voice. But we have to show the numbers, because since this purple group has been showing up at the board meetings, and Debbie, you can address this, they've taken notice. When I went there and would stand up and talk about things, it was just me standing up there and talking about things. But now when you have 25 people that come to the meeting and stand up and talk about the same thing, they're finding out that there are different perspectives in Lee County, and not just the one that they might want to align with. And it's making the voices heard, and the sheer numbers, just having people show up means so much. And that's like there's a curriculum meeting on Monday night, and we're all going to be there, but then there's a board meeting on Tuesday night as well. And at the curriculum meeting, you can only talk about the things that are really on the agenda that night. At the board meeting, you can discuss anything you want. You may only get 3 minutes to do it, which, trust me, is definitely a challenge sometimes to get it all in. But you can discuss anything that you're concerned about in the district. And the thing that we have going for us is that we're respectful. We don't get up there, we don't yell, we don't scream, we don't call people names. We don't get dragged out of the meetings, as some of them have. Mm-hmm. And that makes a big difference as well, because it sets a tone. And it shows just how serious you are. And I think Debbie can attest to that as well.
Thanks so much. I want to be respectful of the time. I know we're heading, and I think that that's a great closing call to action. I know so many of us right now are up to our eyeballs in rebuilding and, finding contractors and dealing with your insurance and all the parts of life that, can be incredibly overwhelming. But if you want to break from, hurricane rebuilding, or you're looking for something else, very much appreciate any and all time that you can give in any one of these different avenues. So Gary, any closing words?
Tiffany, I sent you a message, but there were some questions in the chat. We don't have a hard stop.
Okay.
So maybe we can get to, a few of the questions in the chat.
Oh, that would be
great.
great.
Read it to you, or you're...
Hold on.
You started off with one from Bob Schaefer, and...
Let me just get there. Sorry. Let's see. Yeah, some of these I think let's see. I don't know. Does anyone on the board have the public school appearance? I do know you can restrict. Quite frankly, I don't remember it being that specific. Bob was asking, can you say, like, I don't want my child reading a book about the accomplishments of Martin Luther King, or I don't want them saying, you know.
So I went into Destiny, which is the program that you use to place restrictions for your child. Not to place restrictions, but just to understand how it worked and stuff like that. And you can be as specific as you want as a parent. So if you say, I don't want my kid to read books about Martin Luther King Jr. and his, civil rights accomplishments, you can say that. And, kind of like what others have said, I don't really have a problem with parents placing restrictions on their own children. I have a problem with parents trying to remove books like that or on other topics that would then limit my son's ability to access them. So, I think that the Destiny thing is like it's a good middle ground. It gives parents who want to have restrictions the opportunity to do those restrictions while not making the restriction the base.
But please remember, the Destiny is only for library books. It is not classroom instruction. I just want to make sure that's clear.
Yeah, absolutely. Destiny is for library books only. Classroom libraries are managed by teachers, and obviously there's some variation. My personal experience is that the majority of the books my son brings home from his classroom library are like books I read when I was a kid, like Amelia Bedelia, and they look like maybe they were read by me like almost 35 years ago now, because his teacher has been teaching for almost 30 years, and her classroom library probably was used by kids who now have kids. So I think that there are parents who want to go through her library and stuff like that. But so far, at least at the Sanibel School, the administration has not supported that kind of overreach.
Thanks. And then I'm just going through, I think, the other question that was in the chat that I think we touched on, but just to make sure we close on is, Marianne asked, which website do we watch for these opportunities? And I think, again, like on the hyper local level, maybe email Principal Reed, just so you're on the email list for the school advisory committee meetings. And I think if you just go to the Sanibel School website, her contact info is on there. And then you'll get those meeting notices. You can choose to go or not. In terms of the district public meetings, the curriculum committee meeting, some of these other meetings, is there a website? And Sharon, maybe you're the best one to ask for this. Where do they post all of the meetings coming up? Is there a place someone could go to see that?
Well, let me say the school district, and Debbie will agree with me, the school district website is not the most user-friendly website in the world. But you can eventually find everything on the Lee School District website. And all of the forms to join committees are there. You can sign up to get email alerts sent directly to you for board meetings. So you're always up to date on that. Now, they don't do that, as far as I'm aware, for committee meetings. I literally just go into the calendar and put it on my calendar for the whole school year, so that I don't have to worry about going back to the school district website. But sign up for the alerts at least, so they will.
If you go on, Sharon, if you go on the website, on the front page of the website, it tells you like April 23rd, April 20th is ESE advisory meetings. And it will tell you the calendar right there of all the committee meetings, which is on that front page.
And sign up to get the alerts, though, because you get the agenda that way as well. And you can see what's in the agenda, because oftentimes you might get too focused on one topic. And I read the agenda from start to finish for the last meeting and found out about these new electronic security devices that they're going to be putting in the schools. But it was buried in the consent agenda, you know, in the middle of the meeting. So it's really important to get the agenda and read the whole agenda. And if you set yourself up for the alerts, you'll get them automatically.
Thanks so much, Sharon. That's super helpful. I think we hit the questions that were in the chat. Before we close it out, is there anything else that anyone wants to ask, or otherwise, Gary, I can let you close us down.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to thank you, Tiffany, and thank everybody for participating today. I think we learned a lot, and we have a call to action. This is going to be a marathon. It's not a sprint. And, you know, like, for example, there's the Curriculum Advisory Committee meeting Monday night. Oh, at least some of you can wear purple, attend, and make some public comments, because it does make a difference. The school, you know, and again, as was mentioned, the public comments do get brought out to attention. So the more we have, the better. And again, you know, wearing purple to these meetings, that shows we're not red or blue. We're talking about our children's education. And again, keep looking for opportunities. Get alerts from the school board website. Go out to the school district website periodically to see what's going on. And you know, one comment I had, there was a school board candidate debate on Sanibel at the Republican I forgot what they're called, the Republican Club of Sanibel, or
I think it's like the Republican Caucus.
Caucus, yes, the Republican Caucus of Sanibel. And I went to that. And there was Tia Collin, who ran for School Board District 6, who was a wonderful candidate. And she just ran into the money crunch that the right wing had. But she arrived late for that forum. And at the beginning, they ran an ambush on Kathy Fanny to make sure everybody knew that Kathy Fanny was a registered Democrat. You know, it was a not so subtle way of doing it. But Tia arrived late, so she didn't have to fess up. And she just gave off what she felt she would do as a school board member for running schools. And I heard people in the room, heard people on the way out. They were saying, oh, wow, that woman who arrived late, she was really good. You know, when you don't have the D or R after your name, which unfortunately is coming, you know, so our policies, our procedures, the things we're talking about are not hopeless in Lee County. That's the point I'm making. When Debbie is on the school board because she is out there in the community, despite the political leanings of, you know, of most of the people in our county, because they see her as an active worker out there in the community. And that's what we all have to be. If we're out there in the community and we get to work, we can make a difference.
But Gary, if I may share real quick, I know they're really trying to push that the agenda for partisanship races for a school board, except for I think they forgot that it is it's in the Constitution that they must be. Mm-hmm. So they were not speaking about that. So I know that our lobbyists and everybody, they're discussing how does that fit in, because if it isn't in the Constitution, they would have to change that in order to make that happen. So I just wanted to share that as well. And we can make a difference, and we absolutely can win races. We just have to be out there and pull everybody together. So thank you for that.
And again, thank you, everybody. And we hope to see a number of you out there and doing the work to make sure our voices get heard in Lee County schools. And thank you, everybody.